Welcome, friends, to the first ever episode of This Peculiar Life, the podcast about stories from my own life and maybe even some of yours. I'll be your anonymous host, and let's get started. But right off the bat, I wanted to mention that this will be more of a get-to-know-me episode, where I answer some questions about myself for a bit and then tell some of my own stories for the remainder of this episode. What is your favorite way to spend a day off? And I would have to say either drawing, things I can do right now, drawing, making music, talking with friends. If I could, I would like to be able to see friends in person, but we all know what's going on and we all know why I cannot do that. My second question is, what type of music are you into? And I have to say, I listen to what I like to call skater music. It's mostly indie music, bedroom pop, that kind of thing. I used to call it psychedelic music, and then I realized that that's a whole different category of its own, and I'm not real into that. But yeah, if I were to give a specific example, I'd say Mac DeMarco, Jack Stopper, Tame Impala, and many, many other people. But I also like different kinds of music as well, such as the Paper Kites and Radical Face. Radical Face is lovely. He is a lovely man. Number 3, what was the best vacation you ever took and why? I would have to say that Great Wolf Lodge has a lot of good memories for me. I went there as the last vacation with our whole entire family without my brothers being in college. We were all together, and it was a very nice experience, even though the water park was kind of garbage because everything was broken and the employees were a bit rude. I thought it was a really, really fun experience, and I just really enjoyed it. Alrighty. Well, what are your hobbies and how did you get into them? Well, I'd have to say that my hobbies are making music and drawing, as I have stated before, kind of with my day off thing. I like painting, I like drawing, I like all kinds of art. I'm trying to get into sculpting, but dang, sculpting is really hard. Drawing, I got into it just because I liked to doodle when I was little, and I doodled a lot, and I still doodle now. And I'm feeling a lot more proud of my art. I do digital art mostly. That's my favorite medium to work with, but I also, as I said before, I like to paint, and yeah, I like to paint, draw, but digitally. What's your favorite ice cream topping? Well, there's a lot of good ones out there, and I can't think of anything specifically. So I think I'm going to have to go simple and say hot fudge is just the best. Do you have a favorite holiday? Why or why not? I don't know. I think I really like Christmas because Christmas is not just about the gifts. It's about, the best part of it for me is every member of my family, we get to see them, and we get to see a lot of extended family over, we get to drive over to the next state over by our state, which I'm not going to mention what it is. So, yeah. And I get to see my cousins for one time, once a year, for a very short amount of time. But it's very, very lovely. Do you prefer going to the movies or prefer watching at home? I'd say both has their perks. Both going to the movies and watching at home has a good part about it, but I'd say going to the movies is a better experience than watching at home, because going to the movies, it's like you can make a day out of it. You can go and get popcorn and eat snacks, and then afterwards you can go out to dinner or go out to lunch or just hang out at home, and it's fun. I remember last Christmas, before the Christmas of 2020, me and my brother went out to watch Jumanji, the second Jumanji, and we really liked it. And it was on Christmas Day, and then before that we went to IHOP and just hung out for a little bit until our movie started. It was lovely. I smuggled some gummy bears in there, but don't tell anyone. What's your favorite sleeping position? That is a very, very peculiar question, but that's what we're here for. We're here for peculiar things. I'd have to say I don't sleep face down because I like to breathe. I don't think anyone actually does that, but I do that thing where you lay completely flat on your stomach, but I fold my arms under the pillow and I have my head turned to a side, but sometimes I'll lay on my side and have one arm under the pillow and one arm in front of me. So yeah. What's your favorite quote from a TV show / movie / book? Life moves pretty fast if you oh shoot. I know. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you can miss it. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. One of my favorite movies. What's your nope, I already did that one. How old were you when you had your first celebrity crush, and who was it? That is a really tough question. I gotta say, I was probably around 7, and this is not a celebrity, but I thought Link from The Legend of Zelda was just the hottest thing. I was like, dang, man. He pretty fine. But, yeah. I don't know how old I was specifically, but yes. What's one thing that can instantly make your day better? I don't know. I get sad a lot, and I'll feel lonely. I think having a good call with friends or watching a movie with my family is just a good way to fix my day after I've had a crappy day. It's just a good way to relax and wind down. Do you have any pet peeves, and what are they? Well, I gotta say, I have many pet peeves, but the first one that comes to mind is when people leave like 1 to 3 seconds left on the microwave and take their food out and don't clear the microwave. They don't clear it and make it and change it back to the clock. That bothers me very, very much. So yeah, there's one and it says, what song always gets you out on the dance floor? Well, I've never really been in a situation where I'm in front of a dance floor and there's music playing, but I have favorite songs, and let me see, what is my favorite song? I'd have to say something by Jack Stauber. Jack Stauber is probably my all-time favorite musician. If you look him up and you're not really into weird music and more abstract music, it's like abstract art in music form, but with effort put into it. You might not enjoy him, and I get that, to each his own. But probably something from Bothersome to It's Alright by Jack Stauber, or, everyone knows Buttercup, and I'm a little tired of Buttercup, but I like Two Time in Oklahoma, and yeah, all those great things. This question, ideally, how would you spend your birthday? And I have to say, my favorite thing to do on my birthday, the thing we do every year on my birthday, we go to the local sushi train. Oh my goodness, I love the sushi train. It's so fun, but it's also kind of stressful because you need to grab the plate fast. And if you have your hand on it for too long, the train's going to go away, and you're going to have your hand on the plate, and you're going to spill the plate. And it's like, whoa, dude, chill. And also, you look back at your stack of plates that you got personally, and then you think to yourself, like, dang, I'm such a pig. But you aren't, because sushi isn't that filling, but it's good stuff. So yeah, hanging out with my friends, eating sushi, maybe watching a movie, maybe having some fun time. On my 10th birthday, I watched one of the original Star Wars movies. I think it was Star Wars Episode 3. It was good. I like Star Wars Episode 3. It's probably my favorite one. Do you have a favorite type of exercise? Yes, indeed I do. I've done track and field, and I do the track part. I run long distance, and I've also done cross country, and I want to go back, but the world is crapping itself right now, so we'll wait until that's over. But I want to run again soon, and I miss it. So, yeah. What's the phone app you use the most? Pretty much YouTube. I use it a lot. Yeah. YouTube for sure. Have you ever disliked something and then changed your mind? Yes, I do that a lot because I don't know. Sometimes I'll form an opinion on something too early and then found out that that thing is like not that bad. And so I'll kind of start liking that thing. I don't remember a specific instance where this has happened, but it has happened. So, yes. What is your most prized possession and why? I don't think I really have a most prized possessions. I have a lot of possessions, but I don't know. But yeah, I don't know why I read that one if I didn't have an answer. Do you sleep with the top sheet? Why or why not? I'm assuming by sheet they mean the thin sheets and not like a full-on blanket. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know much about beds, but I have to say, I do not sleep with a top sheet because I've never had a top sheet. That is why. I sleep, a lot of times I'll sleep with a sheet, I'll sleep with my bed sheet, a fitted sheet, as a human should, and have a blanket underneath, and then have a smaller blanket on top, and I lay under the smaller blanket and on top of the bigger blanket, so I don't have to make my bed, and it's very lovely. Sometimes the fitted sheet comes off underneath, and it makes me sad. But if you could have any exotic animal as a pet, which would it be? A fox. Gosh darn it. I know they are such a pain. They look like such a pain. But they're cute as heck, so I gotta say, I would like a fox. Also, maybe an axolotl, but like you can actually get those. But yeah, hold on, I'm trying to find some more good questions. Okay, these are not very good because it's talking about like who's your favorite family member, and like they're all people and I like them all a lot, evenly. Yes. Do you want a family of your own? Yes, I do. I would like to have kids, and yeah, I want to have kids and I want to be the best mom I can be. I want to be a good mom. Also, this wasn't a question, but I would like to say that as a career, I would like to do something in psychology. It's always fascinated me watching murder documentaries. Stay with me. Because I find criminal psychology and what went wrong with a person, like how people can go wrong, how the brain works, how people can make this horrible deed in their head sound okay to them, how they can justify this behavior. So fascinating. The human mind is a very, very fascinating thing. So I'd probably pick something in psychology. I'd like to be a therapist because I think that I went through a part in my life that I'm still kind of going through where I just kind of wanted to give up. I was really sad, and I'm still pretty sad. I feel like I'm getting better, but I'm not going to speak too soon. But I'm here to stay, and I don't want anyone else to ever have to feel like that, especially like children. And so I want to work with children, and I'm into art, so I was thinking art therapy would be a very, very interesting thing to do. Yes. So this one is, what was it like growing up as the youngest / oldest / middle / only child? I am the youngest in my family. I have 2 older brothers. One is 24 and one is 22 at the time I'm recording this. And they mean so much to me, and they are always there for me. They've always have been there for me. And I cannot express how much my brothers mean to me. And goodness sakes, man, I miss my brothers. One is engaged and is to get married this summer, and one has been married for for about 2 years, I'd say. And yeah, and my sisters-in-law are just the sweetest ladies. They're just the most lovely ladies. Goodness sakes. And now I'm just gushing about my siblings. So what's it like growing up as the youngest? It's okay. It's okay. I mean, I've never been in the shoes of the oldest or middle child. I know the middle child doesn't have it that great, but I'd have to say being the youngest child can suck sometimes, because when your older siblings are off doing older sibling things, you're sitting there being too young to hang out with them and too young to do what they're doing. And also, when you're the youngest, everyone goes off to college before you. So you're sitting there and you have to be the only child for a little while. So that's been really sad because I have to sit here and I'm really lonely, but it's okay. Because I got my friends and I can still text my brothers and I can still call them. And yes, if you have children, how do you want to raise them? Well, that's complicated. I'd say, every child wants to do this, and I'm not saying my parents did a bad job raising me. They're still raising me. I'm not saying they did. They are. I'd have to say, I want to do it better than my parents did, and then hopefully my children will want to do it better than I did, and then soon there will be the alpha parent and then the perfect parent, and they will just be like the best parent ever. It's just like, yeah. Do you have any friends you consider family? That's complicated. I've seen friends come and go, so now I'm more cautious to form super close relationships because I'm afraid of losing people that I love to time and to quarrels and all that doo-doo. So I do have some friends that I would probably consider family, but I'm kind of scared too because I don't want to get so close to someone and then have to say goodbye to someone because our friendship has ended because I've done something weird or they done something weird, or it's just time and it's sad. What personality traits do you share with your relatives? I'd have to say that probably the personality traits I have inherited from my brothers and my family is maybe their sense of humor, maybe the way my brother talks, the middle brother, one who's 22. I think the way he talks, and sometimes he'll talk in a like squeaky voice, as just like to be funny. And I do that a lot too. I'm trying not to right now, even though it's a thing I do all the time, because I want to be normal and tolerable to listen to, because if you're annoying, no one wants to hear you talk for 45 minutes. How long has it been? I haven't been keeping track. Anyways, how can someone earn your trust? That's a really rough question to answer because I have a weird thing where I just assume that no one actually likes me. And I know that's not true. But I feel like people stick around because they want to be nice. I've had some people like that before in my life, but it's really hard for someone to earn my trust that they actually care about me. But just being there for me and just, I don't know, because I talk a lot and I tend to interrupt. Just being able to listen and understand. I don't really know. I'm not saying that, like, I mean, I'm sorry to anyone who's had to try to feel like they need to earn my trust, because, like, I don't want people to feel like they have to, like, I mean, everyone needs you to earn their trust, but I don't want you to feel like you have to be, like, climb a mountain and be all crazy. It just takes time. It takes a long time for me to realize that, hey, everyone doesn't actually hate me. Like, I know that's not true, but I can't help but feel that way. So, anyways, yep, okay. Do you live by a piece of advice or motto? I'd say, because I am a Christian, I believe in God, I pray, I read the Bible. I would like to try, I try my best to spread the word. It's kind of a hard thing to do. But I mean, any piece of advice or motto, I'd say the Bible, probably. Have you ever lost a friend? If so, what happened? I don't think I'm comfortable answering that, because I don't want to get into gossipy territory, because I know it's kind of hard if I'm talking about, like, friendships and relationships ending. I start getting into what happened, and then what happened turns into me, like, hey, this person kind of hurt my feelings, and then I talk about, like, how, and that just feels wrong. So I don't want to talk about that. Do you believe in second chances? I really do. I really, really do. I think that everyone deserves a second chance. I think that people are deeper than just, like, a couple bad things they've done. There's a reason behind the way people act. There's a reason behind everything. There's a reason behind every wrongdoing, every right doing. There's a reason for everything. It may seem like everything just happens and there's nothing in control, but I believe God is in control, and He does everything according to His will. So yeah. There's one that says, "Are you an organ donor?" No, I am not. I am not an organ donor. There's another. What, if anything, do you think that happens after death? These are kind of deeper questions. Heaven or hell? I always pictured it in my head, like, you sit there in almost kind of, it's almost like a courtroom, but it's not. It's just this thinner, almost like glass room. And in that room, on one side of the wall, on the right side, there's heaven. On the left side, there's hell. I know this isn't how it works, but this is just how it works in my brain. This is how I envision it. And then there's this, I don't know what it's called anymore, but there's this little stand, there's this little area, and that's where God sits, and He sorts. He just, yeah, and I know that's not what happens. It's not what happens. It's probably very inaccurate, but that's how I like to, that's what I've always envisioned when I think of what happens after you die. I think you are in that room. You can see your loved ones for the last time and see whether you both end up together, or if they didn't make it. And it's sad. It really is sad. But there's a reason. I'm trying to not. Yeah. I don't know what I'm saying. I do think people say that in heaven you won't remember the sad things, but I believe that you will remember the sad things. But the sadness is not, that it's non-existent. You won't associate the sadness with that memory. You will remember everything, and you can, but there is no pain, there is no sadness, there's nothing. There's no unpleasant memories, they're just memories. The unpleasantness just is like poof. But yeah. Let me see. I'm trying to look for different questions. Do you hit the snooze button or wake up immediately? Well, it depends, because sometimes I'll be totally out of it and get up and walk over to my alarm clock, and I'll shut it off without thinking. And I'm like, shoot, because I wake up and it's like 10. I'm like, dang it. So I've been recording my question and answer portion for a little bit now. So I think I'm going to move on to the story portion. I have one funny story from when I was little. I was in about preschool, and I remember, oh man, I miss preschool. I know this sounds stupid, but I reminisce about preschool sometimes. It was a simpler time. It was lovely. Every morning, my mom would wake me up for preschool, and she would open my door ever so gently. It was lovely. And she would say, hey, it's time to get up. Grandma's going to take you to preschool. And so I'd wake up, and I was so happy, and she'd help me get dressed, because granted, I was like I went to preschool from about, I thought it was 2 to 4, or 2 to 5, I don't remember. It was somewhere around that time, but yeah. 2 to 6, I don't know. I have, my memory of that is very, very spotty. But I remember going in the back of my grandma's car, which I, kind of really screwed up, by the way. I'm sorry, Grandma. If you ever hear this, Grandma, I'm so sorry for, I think I vaguely remember coloring on the inside of her car with crayons, and I just think about that, and I'm just like, that was not, yikes. But I looked into the weird little holder container pocket by the door. You know, it's always in every car, like somewhere underneath the door handle, there's this little, area where you can put stuff. I don't know what it's for, but it's there. And I found a little crayon. It's probably from when I used to go to my grandma's luncheon with her when I was little. And it was like brunch, and it was fun. I liked that. And I found I found a button. Oh yeah, it wasn't a crayon, it was a button. I think that crayon was when I colored on this stuff. I found a little button. I looked at it, and I was like, huh. I put it in my mouth, and I let it flop around in my mouth for a little while, and then I took it out and looked at the button. I'm like, this is a pretty big button. I bet it couldn't fit on my nose. And I put it in my nose. And then I realized, oh, frick. And I tried to pick my nose and shove my finger up there and get it out and fish it out. And I was panicking at that point. And I realized that, hey, nose cartilage exists. I can't squeeze it out like that. And so it tickled my nose that whole day. It tickled my nose so bad. And it bothered me. And the whole day I was like, and the teacher probably thought I was sick, which I wasn't. I was just stupid. And I don't remember this as well, but I either sneezed it out in class or sneezed it out in the car. I probably sneezed it out in the car. After the day had ended, I went on the playground, everyone did. Everyone went into the playground after the day was over of learning and fun times. And I got in there, and I sat down. And I went, achoo, and a little button came out into my hand. And my girl was like, you need tissue. And I'm like, no. I don't remember telling her. This could have happened in class. If it did, then my memory is just really spotty. But my grandma was like, we don't put things up our noses. It's not. It will get stuck up there, and then that will happen again. And it's not pleasant. From that day on, I learned that you can't always shove things up your nose, because it's either going to get stuck up there or you're going to be feeling like you're going to sneeze all day. It's very, very unpleasant. So I'd just like to say that was a funny memory from early existence. And yeah. I have not found anything good on Ask Reddit so far, so I think I'm just going to end it here. I hope you all have a wonderful day and take care of yourselves. Please make sure you take care of yourselves. It's very important that you take time for self-care and check on other people around you, because you're not alone. Even if you feel like you are, you're never alone. So, that's all I have to say. I hope you have a wonderful day, as I just said before, and goodbye.